Well, there are a lot of guesses as to why Putin went in the first place. And so certainly one of the ways to come out is, and the most enduring one is peace talks. And so everyone would certainly welcome it. I think a lot of the war or the outcomes or the future outcomes of the war are being handled now and being litigated or run through international public opinion as well as Russian public opinion. To what extent and when will the reasons for Putin to go in will change, and the calculations will change, and so certainly welcome development. Too early to say. I think the international community is quite constrained, and it's in the tools that it has to pressure Russia. Sanctions, and we're talking about serious sanctions, it seems like at the moment have a tendency to take a long time to be effective, if at all. So if Putin and the Russians did want, they could easily endure this pressure, this economic pressure, for as long as they need to take over Kyiv and other parts of the Ukraine. But whether or not they want to, or what are the current assessments based on the international pressure that is very significant in terms of the outcome and the legacy of Putin, that many say was a major reason for going in, is a good question. And I think it seems like potentially, again, a positive development. I think there is a lot of guesswork being done in the last couple or 3 or 4 days about what did the Russians expect and what was their, what were their calculations. It seems like, based on logic, that yes, this was a bit unexpected, but it's hard to know whether the decision to go into Ukraine was merely logic, because based on logic, I think many experts believed beforehand that the Russians wouldn't go in. So not sure about that. We can only guess. Putin seems to have climbed the tall tree, and he needs a ladder to go down. The move from the Security Council at the UN to the General Assembly is an important one, because obviously Russia controls the veto power in the Security Council, but does not in the General Assembly. There is a meeting tomorrow of the Security Council to vote for moving the discussion to the General Assembly, which is a procedural vote, and therefore Russia cannot use its veto power. And then the General Assembly, at the moment, what seems like there is a worldwide condemnation of Russia's move. So hopefully something will come out again in terms of pressure, and not so much a binding decision, because the General Assembly can only recommend moves and cannot issue binding resolutions. NATO has been quite strong in its voice and in its actions. I'm particularly surprised with the German response of actually supplying weapons, which is a reversal of a very, very long foreign policy of Germany. So there seems to be quite a lot happening. The NATO countries are not obviously going to take active part in the war if they can help it, but some or many countries are afraid of some mistake that will lead to a deterioration. When countries go into war, they know what to expect initially, but so much can go wrong that we don't know. So certainly the move to supply what they call quote-unquote defensive weapons is certainly an important part of the international posture, position, if you like.